Log recording, 7:41 at night, West Coast time, still the 28th of January 2024, the Weaver Regency of Roseman, California. Shout out to other people who are still following this channel. I had to take a little bit of a personal time off, not doing any morning videos, not much. I wanted to get more sleep. I discovered that more often than normal, I'm requesting more and more of sleep from my damn body than anything else. Only because there's a lot of emotional baggage that 50 some odd years can put on a human body, especially when you're stressing so much about a lot of things happening in life that the brain can only handle so much, and then when you're trying to get past the stuff, it just wants to sleep, recover, and just not deal or cope with anything. Kind of sucks sometimes. As much as I like to go out there and try to breathe some air without it coming through the open wind slits and just deal with a magnificent sky that actually had some striations of the clouds. My math teacher, back in the last session I had at ABC, Math for Liberal Arts, he said there was math in everything. First day of class, he showed us a video on YouTube regarding um, I'm a fan of math or something like that, a TED talk of sorts. And there's one guy who wasn't hip on math at the end of the film was hip on math. So the professor wanted us to see math in anything and everything. I think I talked about this one in other videos I've done. I was looking at the clouds and I was thinking to myself, Professor, you got into my damn head, didn't you? Math and everything. We do the geometricals as we're doing our construction of our own world, and yet the nature does it by its own fractal math, trying to repeat its patterns left and right in the sky. Part of that was part of the essay a video essay that I sent over to the professor for the final exam, which I passed on it. I got an A. Because I tried to explain how I looked at math in different ways, and I was taught one of my coworkers that I was actually doing a higher form of math and didn't even realize the damn shit. Survival math, I called it. I'm still doing it because it's the only way I know how. Now, as for me emotionally trying to handle the rest of this stuff out, let's be clear. I know I appreciate the comments I'm getting these days from my viewers out there. I appreciate them. I'm just not as open and forward as some people would expect me to be. When you get into certain situations or certain points in your life, I'm still trying to struggle with looking forward towards things. I haven't given up on completing the college. I had, as I said before, I had to take the semester off and take care of my dog. If she's still stabilized enough for next semester, I'll go. And if she happens to pass during that time, then I got a deal. But currently, I took the semester off just to keep an eye on her. And I regretted the crap out of it. Maybe I should have had my head in the game, but unfortunately, during this time of year, I still struggle with it. Sometimes I take the time off, and other times I don't. February's coming up. February was one of the hardest damn months I had to deal with over the past decade and a little bit. Prior to that, it wouldn't have bothered me. It wouldn't have bothered me from working through a birthday week or two. I was used to that for a long while. Sometimes celebrated, sometimes not. But when you get to a point where you're losing people left and right, the grieving and the mourning and the pain and the loss and the triggers take more of a priority than anything else. When Ma passed, 19th of February 2013, my world ended. And I was still struggling. I was 3 years shy from being 50, I think. Or 40. Lost track. Oh, 50. Because I celebrated a 50th birthday with my brother being homeless in a motel room looking for donations just to keep another night years ago. So I must have been about 46, 47. Actually, I probably turned 47. And then Ma had to. It was her time. Despite the fact she was dying slowly because everybody else was dying on her and it was tearing her ass apart. A great deal more. February 1st was when the emergency crew came into the apartment. We're living in Lancaster, California, in Montecito Apartments on Ellen 10th West. It was number 37, the handicap place, or one of them. Very few of them in that complex at the time. Management, corporate, was trying to get rid of us. I don't know why. We had been there for a few years. We kept paying our rent and had no issues. We never knew what the hell was going on. But we were getting into a fight with these guys. My brother and I were going through a lot during those days. Trying to take care of Ma, bringing her in and out of the damn hospital, pissing off the fire department left and right. Why don't you keep her in the nursing home? Why don't you keep her in the nursing home? Why don't you keep her in the nursing home? This is our home, damn it. Either officially or unofficially, he was trying to say it. That it was way too much for us. And we said, no, we're going to do it because we're going to do it. And we did it to the best of our ability. Despite the fact how many times. Even if the Ma was in a nursing home during that time. I mean, let's just say, throw this one out, okay? If we had put Ma into a nursing home, Dave and I would not have been living at home. We would have been living somewhere else. Because the nursing home would have required payment from Social Security for the long-term residents, and we're doing that. But if it was a short-term and if we knew that she was going to need hospice care, which she didn't, but let's say, for example, if she did, we had no place to go anyway. We weren't depending, actually, we were depending upon each other. I had already lost a job. I was on unemployment, applying for disability because I already been disabled on the damn job and I was still going through the damn process. Dave already had his disability, and I'm not quite sure if it still would have been able to pay for the damn rent or not. And if it did, we still would have had a place to go, and we would still have to pay for utilities, which means we would have to struggle. And then there was the food banks right there. But Ma would have been in a nursing facility. Now, even at nursing facilities, if they actually had any medical emergencies, they would call the fire department if they had been so deemed to do so. They could barely keep up with emergency first aid. But after that, you depended upon the fire department to take your ass over to the hospital to get your ass maybe stabilized enough to whether or not they're going to be putting you somewhere else or not. I don't know. But we weren't taking a chance. We weren't taking a chance. We made a promise to Ma a long time ago when our grandmother had been suffering through a stroke and then dying. My mother looked at my brother, made him promise that he'd never put her like we had put Grandma through. Don't put her in a nursing home because we saw how an elderly aunt was treated or mistreated a long time ago. I don't remember the facility. I don't know much of the details on that one. There's not much remembering of it. But What I was told was my aunt was facing a wall all the time and could not deal with anything else. She was that intense with her grief and pain. And we brought her home, dealt with temporarily with her sister, which was our grandmother, and then we brought them to our home out in Arleta, all living under one roof. And May still had problems with her heart. We kept taking her over to hospital. Comes back, stabilized enough. Sometimes grandma would run into the same situations. Older farts do that because their bodies are breaking down. And then, May dies from a massive. It's like hours after my birthday passed, or just as the birthday passed, as a young kid. And we get shunted from one house to another house, and my grandma get into an argument. She goes down to San Diego, gets a stroke, comes back home, barely stabilized, and 3.5, nearly 4 years of her being in her own bedroom in a hospital bed. Sometimes transported to the hospital, sometimes mostly not. Until the last few weeks of her life when she did have a massive stroke and she had to be going to the hospital, and that's where she died at. I guess around that time is when Ma made the promise to my brother. And my brother told her, and he made me promise, that we would never put Ma in a nursing home. We would take care of her. We'd take care of her the best we could, and we did. And we kept that promise to a point. But while she was in a hospital and her body was dying slowly, we thought maybe a skilled nursing facility with a respiratory care would be, hopefully taken care of and approved by her insurance somehow. It didn't happen. She also died in a hospital. It's hard enough when David had to sign the damn paperwork on the 19th of February, and then fuck. So yeah, you're talking about emotional roller coaster these days. It's been about, oh God, how's it been? 13th, 11 years coming up. 11 years. 11 years of this stuff. The picture I've got right above the family portrait. The last Christmas she ever had. She couldn't get out of bed to celebrate it with us to see the Christmas tree, so we had to take pictures of it and showed it to her. She said it was the most beautiful thing she ever seen, except for the piece of shit I brought into her. And the dog. Of course, she had been there for about a couple of years, so she was already well instituted into the family. So yeah, it's been a long while. And then taking care of David one way or another. It was always hard. Big Brother's coming up in September, and during the time when I'm going through the fall. And I vowed to myself I'm going to get this done in AVC. After that, I don't know. I hadn't thought that far ahead. Some days I'm just taking it a day at a time and a minute at a time and just trying to deal and cope with it. Even trying to breathe. Of course, I cry my eyeballs out and praying to God, just forgive me for doing this shit. Sometimes I can't tell whether or not she's whining or if it's the kids outside, so pause. Now, granted, sometimes it sounds like I'm just kind of belly aching about what's going on in my life. I'll take it for granted, I'll say it. It does sound like it. It's like I'm not dealing with it properly, and sometimes people have their own way of identifying what's supposed to be proper and what's not, according to their own styles and ideas and whatever they got going on in their heads. Whatever may be good for some person over here that they think of may or may not be. So sometimes I have to keep asking myself, what's good for me may not be good for somebody else. And if it isn't good for somebody else, well then it sure as hell ain't good for me in the first place. But me going on a half spree of something or another, just for my own damn satisfaction, I don't try to force shit down people's throats. I'm not trying to make a suggestion to anybody that you have to, you have to, you have to. But I understand some things that people are going through right now are kind of hard for them to just deal with it, especially when they get a lot of ideas that could help them out down the road. But immediately it's what they're looking for. I was trying to converse with a friend how to deal with the grieving when it gets to him, because my friend had gone through loss as well. He talks about it. He talks about it. It still hurts him. I know, I can still hear the pain in his voice. I can still see it in his eyes. If you've gone through the loss and you've got that much pain, you can recognize it in somebody else because they got the same damn look. It's something, it's not describable. You just know by instinct, by looking at them. And it hurts like hell. I know what it's also like to have the moleskin on yourself, on your soul. Trying to keep the feelings locked in. Cover it up, so to speak. And it hurts sometimes when I get to that point because I'm not able to tell people exactly how the hell I'm feeling at this point over here, but they want me to be better, feel better, because it makes them feel better. And I've tried to tell people, look, you just can't force that shit down other people's throat. As much as good and well-intentioned as it is. I don't like losing friends, I don't like losing neighbors, and I don't like losing people, period. If there's miscommunications going on, I'd like to make amends about the damn thing. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't like it when people just tell me that you have to, you have to, you have to. And I can't tell you how many people I've come across that one in the meeting halls in different places when people are going through that shit. You say you're sorry all the damn time, I know. But if you've already been through it, the only thing they don't want is to hear it. They only want a presence right there to share the pain just for the moment or two. Even if it means needing to get a hug or two. You know what drives me crazy sometimes is when I'm going through certain shows that I watch and I get the triggers that way. Shows I like and I know that one of these here days they're going to nail me for this one, but they do. Those shows will nail me. They'll start up the process. And then it happens and I start going off the deep end. I'll cry my eyeballs out. I've been doing that all day today. I mean, there are shows out there I like to watch, but I know there's a lot of associations that makes these group of people in these shows the triggers that would get to me. Now, originally, if I was watching these shows before I got triggered, before Ma's death, or before David's death, it wouldn't have affected me all that much. But since I've lost both of them, and a couple others after that, it just makes it harder and harder for me to enjoy stuff these days anymore. So I like to try to get involved with somebody else's situation over there just to help them out, just to sit and listen. But then again, I know somewhere deep inside I'd like to express what I'm going through to connect with them, to understand that, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. It always got to the point where I'm identifying more and more with the people who are deciding they just want to commit themselves to that last act, that last step, that one-way trip, because everybody else is ignoring living crap out of them. Even the ones that supposedly cared about him in the first place. And the other people I'm listening to right now are the ones that are trying to tell me, yes, I understand, I share your pain, but you still got to do this, and this because it's suggestion. You got to get out of it. You have to. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want to hear, and that's not what I want to do. You're not getting it. It's like telling a drowning man to drink a cup of water. Doesn't work. I talk a lot of stuff that I get exposed to. I'll talk politics, science. I'll talk scholastic if I have to. Any other kind of topic that would interest the living crap out of me. But the one topic I'm still trying to get more and more into, unfortunately, and it's driving people crazy, is the mourning and grieving situation over here that people just don't want to deal with. They don't want to hear about it. The so-called friends and family out there that I made connections with so long ago, drying up left and right like they're nothing, like they hadn't existed. Oh, existed a name, or maybe on a piece of paper, or maybe. But how many times I kept posting my stuff, my pain on social media to let them know what's going on, one ear out the other ear. Once in a great while, I'll get a call from a friend. That's about it. Everybody else, they got their own issues. They got their own lives to deal with. I have to struggle with mine. Why don't you get into a car and go? Because I ain't got a car to go. So I will do what I can for right now as it is. I may or may not go to the doctor's office, may cancel it out again, but I know the day after I get you know, a reminder that I turned into 58, I'll get a call from my therapist, and we'll go over some stuff. She wants me to keep her apprised. Well, some of these links I'm sending to her will keep her apprised of what's going on. I'm doing the best I can for right now. Even if today feels like it's a crappy day, and it has to be one of those days I gotta pour my heart and soul out through my tears again, start wasting valuable paper towels as tissue paper. But no, it's got to go. I got to go through the system. I have to get it out of the system. I have to cry about it. I have to talk about it. I have to commiserate. I have to go ape over it. I have to emote. Screw the damn pills and shit like that. I don't need it. I just need to get through it. I've been feeling like a damn lab rat all my damn life. Poked, prodded like a damn pincushion, trying to see if I live or move. Sliced and diced and operated on, either trying to save my life or trying to do something else on me. Survived death when I was 4 years old. Changed as a kid and his perspective throughout his life. And then dealing with the doctors trying to maintain that body of his, but screw the damn mind and the soul that still screams out, why am I going through this damn shit? I have to be a tough kid. Turns out afterwards, I learned out how sensitive, really sensitive a soul. And I guess that's something that pisses people off because they don't want to see that shit. Oh well, I guess people want emotional fucking robots. I don't have any gears. I don't have any servos. I don't have any motors. No oil in my system. Except for the cooking oil I keep using. I am what I am right now. That's all I am. If it's not someone's specs, oh well, what do you want me to do? I'm doing the best I can. And if it's not good enough, well, then it's not good enough for anybody. But on that one, I may have ticked off a lot of people on this channel right now, even in this video. I'm trying to explain what the hell I've been through today. Sorry if I'm coming down on hard. It's a reaction and I found out on other people that what they really wanted most was just a hug and an acknowledgement that they're human, that they're going through the damn shit. Not to be told that these things need to be done so they can feel better. Well, did you try this? Did you try this? Did you? You need to. I found out when I talked to other people about it in my lifetime, and not to mention I'm dealing with my own. I've also found out how other people can take advantage of it. I want to be open to people. I want to be open and honest about it. And in some ways, I have to find a delicate way of saying to people, look, I appreciate the advice. I appreciate the suggestions. And at the time when I'm going through the thing, the suggestions are going in one ear out the other ear. And all I needed was to get through the damn emotions and having a shoulder to cry on and squeeze the crap out of them because I'm in that much pain. Once I get triggered in that kind of a massive situation, and it happens infrequently, I just needed a shoulder to cry on. Being a man like I am, I have been told many times in my youth, men don't cry. Bullshit. That's a cop out, and that's a lie. Maybe back for other older generations that they didn't want to deal with the emotions. Maybe they didn't want to deal with it because their own survival had to be in check. Well, I'm in a situation right now. My own survival is still needed, and for me to survive is not to close up, but to be more open about it. They don't like it. I don't give a flying fuck. My language is salty. My language sucks for other people because I don't speak what they expect. I don't give a shit. I talk as I talk. But I don't push shit down. I don't push stuff down people's throat. I don't push any ideologies or ideologues or any other kind of mental instability. I'm already going through it myself right now. Why do I need to force my insanity down you? You're already crazy enough anyway by your own self. Let's face it, we're already insane enough anyway in our own right. We just haven't quite acknowledged it. I appreciate, and I'm sorry if I'm lashing out, and I'm in pain, and I was earlier today. I just didn't want to hear it. I was just going through it. And sometimes laying down helps me to shut it down at least a little bit. And then maybe I'll wake up, maybe I'm still feeling the same damn way, or I'll wake up maybe a little bit more reset than I am right now. I already been triggered. So now I gotta wait for the damn tsunami again. I can honestly tell you that grieving frickin' sucks. So does the mourning. But the more intense the mourning pain is, and the grieving action, the more I realize how much I missed and loved, and they're no longer there. Hidden until the damn thing's ripped away, and then I get to seeing them again, and then I'm hurt like a son of a bitch. That's how it is. That's how it is. So, We'll do another video log, maybe several hours when I wake up, because I'm going off the air for a while, and I'm not answering any calls. I'm not answering any emails or anything else. Tomorrow is not the day for the birthday. It's just the next step to it. And the next day after that is going to be the pain in the ass day. And then the 31st is the day that my aunt died and my mom had her last meal on earth. And then the month of February becomes the month of hell. I'll be talking more about that one later.